Many of you do not know that just as you give contract of your project to other bodies, private bodies to handle, security and military contract can also be given to private individuals to handle, including foreigners. Here, General Musa is asked to give insight on how this is done and why he is not recommending it for Nigeria despite the insecurity currently ravaging the nation.
Joining us now on the morning show as we review the victories of the Nigerian Armed Forces against banditry and insurgencies, General Christopher Gwabin Musa, OFR, Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff. Good morning, sir, and good to see you on.
Good morning, thank you. Once again, good to be here.
Well, General, good to have you on the program. Ayo has already referred to what the president said, that about 300 Boko Haram commanders have been eliminated. Persons are returning from internally displaced persons camps to their homes. Peace is being restored. But President Tinubu also said that it is still an unfinished business. How unfinished is the business?
Thank you, Dr. Abati. It's always good to be here. Unfinished in the sense that we still have work to do. It's not yet uhuru totally. Well, again, it is almost impossible to expect that we'll have total peace in the entire world. You know, the challenges we're facing is not only to Nigeria alone. The sub-region is going through stress, Africa, and indeed the entire world. The Russia-Ukrainian war is causing a lot of issues for us. The recent Israeli, Palestinian, now Lebanese and Iranian wars are also, they have implications. But again, we still have implications here in Nigeria. So it's not only for us alone. And that's why we always want to appeal to Nigerians, firstly, to support their armed forces, to support the country as a whole. The challenges we're facing is not isolated. Yeah, the challenges we're facing is a Nigerian challenge. Nigerians must take on and responsibility. I'm happy to be here because you give us a platform where we can talk directly with Nigerians and then let them understand that they equally have roles to play for us to be able to succeed. So it's work in progress. We're not where we want to be, but we're heading there, and we're sure we're heading towards the right way.
Excellent. All right, you talk about roles that Nigerians have to play. I have two questions for you. The first is, what are some of those roles? Because the people are watching, so this is an opportunity to actually detail some of the things that Nigerians ought to be doing to complement the efforts of the military. Now, in talking about complementing the efforts, my second question would then be the statement made by Senator Ali Ndume. I don't know if you've heard about it, but he said that perhaps the military should consider engaging military contractors to fully decimate and win the war against terrorism, particularly Boko Haram in Nigeria. What's your take on that? Do you agree with him?
Yeah, thank you very much. Of recent, you know that we have military contractors in Mali. How far have they gone? The Americans have used military contractors in Afghanistan. They fought for over 20 years. They packed and left and didn't finish the war. So what I'm saying is that asymmetric warfare is a very, very difficult operation. Why? Because you are dealing with non-state actors, people you don't know. These are your own people. The only way we identify them is if you see them armed. These guys, immediately you move in, they drop the arms, they hide the arms, and then they are normal civilians. And again, even when they are carrying these arms, they try to blend within the civilian populace, so that it makes it extremely difficult. One of the reasons why this campaign has been prolonged for this long is because we are obeying human rights. We try to, as much as possible, know that if there are civilian populations within the general area, we avoid collateral damage, except if necessary. But that has made it a bit difficult. But we remain focused, we remain very professional. Senator Ndume has said, you know, there's freedom of speech in democracy. So I understand probably he is looking at it, trying to look at options. But for us, it is not an option. We're doing a lot of joint training with the Americans, with the European Union team. So we're doing a lot together to build capacity in order to project this war. The war we're facing is not your kind of conventional warfare where the enemy is there, you know where he is, you can always go and get him here and there. These guys are highly mobile. Like I said, once you are going after them, there are informants that give them up-to-date information about your movement, your strength, your capabilities, and then they blend as quickly as possible. The Northwest has a land mass of kilometers. It is massive. It is highly forested, a very difficult terrain, and we share a common border with our neighboring countries, with Benin Republic and Niger. 1,500 kilometers with Niger. That's also very big. So these are challenges we're facing. The 300 that was mentioned is still counting. I think we've done more than that. But as it is, because we have high rate of poverty, illiteracy, and so they have a way of recruiting as quickly as possible. So it makes it look as if we're not working. But I can guarantee you that we're doing well. Contractors, military contractors, is not the solution. The money you're going to give them, because you're going to pay them heavily, why not use that military and equip your own, use that money to equip your own military? That would be a better option. And I think we can do that. I'm very happy that the Mr. President has approved the bill for DICON, Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria, to partner with other original manufacturers to produce in situ. I think that will be our solution. What we have realized over these years, why, again, these things have been prolonged, is even with our money, we can't get the equipment that we need. Now, in Ukraine, anywhere you go under equipment, they take priority other than you. Except we produce what we need, that will give us the leverage, and I think we're working towards that. We've started now. We are producing our own ammunition. We have local contractors like Proforce that is producing local APCs. We have EPL that is producing local. We have Imperium. They are producing local APCs. I think by few years' time, we also will be able to produce and also sell to our neighboring countries. I think that will give us the leverage.
I mean, General, I completely agree with you, owing to the fact that, sometimes we might not agree on much, but I agree with you. And before you came here, I made a strong case that Nigeria has one of the best fighting force you can ever think of. And that what we just need is training, proper training. Because even in the time past, when the military contractors were here, the Strike Force 72 during 2014, 2015, it was still our troops that did most of the work. And they did most of that clearing. And they made it possible for President Jonathan to come up to, I think it was Baghdad, and we could have elections that period. So I dove my heart for the fighting force. We have a great fight force. And I salute you guys this morning if you see me. But we have some problems. Morale is a big problem. Yeah. And I also want to ask you about female officer Ruth. Did you people handle that matter properly? I mean, we talk about defending the rights of women here. We feel largely, and I'm talking about society in general, that woman was just done away with. Allegations were not listened to. They were quick to say she was mentally unbalanced and all of that. Please, let's make a case for that woman. Yeah, and we want to fight for that woman this morning.
Thank you, Rufai. Thank you very much. I can tell you as commanders, we fight for our men. We fight for our men more than any other thing. And I can bet you, if you ask any of our men outside, they will tell you, we stand for them, we protect them. But, there are limitations. This same lady you were talking about did not start this year. It had been ongoing for a very long time. Everybody had tried to assist the lady to ensure that she's properly taken care of, looked after. It's not because she's mentally and then we just drop her. No, we don't do that. We went through the process. We got the medical men to go through her, looked at it. We tried to assist her. But one thing people don't understand, everybody that tried to help her, she came after the person and maligned that. Even myself, I'm sure you had comments she made that she reported. She did report. She communicated with me directly, and I was able to get across to her commanders. We took her to the medical, and that's the procedure. The medical were able to go through it and looked at her, and the case was investigated. That she said she was sexually harassed or by a commander. It doesn't happen. If it does, we have our court martials and we take action. We do not hide our men. Anybody who commits an offense will go for it. My policy is, you do well, you are rewarded. You do badly, you get punished. So the commander is not there. It was thoroughly investigated. We found out that she has some mental issues. Yes, sometimes she might seem to be coherent in what she's saying. Remember that even the chief of army staff, she came after him that he wanted her to send his nude picture or whatever. I mean, these are things that will never happen. So please be rest assured that we take care of our men. Their welfare is of paramount importance. And I'm sure you have listened to us since last year. Sir, we've always talked about the welfare of our men because we know without good welfare, they will not be able to give us their best. Sir, so we're always out on looking out for them, watching out for them, sir, appealing for increment in their salaries, appealing for increment in their ration cash allowance, which we call RCA, so that they can do better. Okay. But I can tell you that we're working We're committed,
Sir,
and we'll continue to work.
I want to go back to that lady's case because what she said in the interview was different.
Yeah.
She was even saying that the dismissal, was not even a dismissal in the first place, that, it was an agreement by both parties. And what the army made it seem was different. She even gave more, copious insights into that incident as regards the sexual advances being made at her, and she said, no to it. What were the authorities that even investigated that she was medically unstable? Because this issue, I know you people in the military, you have your own internal mechanism, but it's already a public issue. And for us, it's the optics at which it looks at in the public that we do not like. By the virtue of this show,
I think it's
can
very
we
important.
reassess
Yes.
that matter? Can we reassess that matter for the sake of transparency? I know you people are fair comply on it, but can we reassess for the interest of justice? General, you can go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yes, okay. I didn't really get the last part of your speech, but I think you talked about the issue of reassessing the matter. Of course, mental issues, especially in the military, is something we view very, very seriously because you give somebody who is mentally unstable, he has ability to carry a weapon, he can take down everybody that is there when the issues come up. And so it's something that we view very seriously. And we don't want, we respect anybody who is committed himself to serve in the military because we know you have agreed to lay down your life for your country. So for us as commanders, it's something we take very seriously. We appreciate that. And so we want to also make sure that their health status are well respected. And that's why we went through the entire process. We have our procedures. For every aspect of the military, we have our procedures. And those are the procedures that were followed. A review, of course, it's possible to have a review.
Okay, General.
I'm sure it will not come out anything different. That I can guarantee you.
Okay, General.
But we will not do anything to impugn on our own personnel. We will not.
Okay, General, let me take you back to this point about private military contractors. Your predecessor, General Lucky Rabo, said, no private military contractors. We are up to the task. The Nigerian military can do it. But, okay, you have repeated more or less the same thing, saying, no, such an option is not on the table. But the same Nigerian government engages domestic corporate security outfits, either, along the Gulf of Guinea or in the Northeast and Northwest. What does that say about the capacity of the Nigerian military? Because these domestic security outfits, the basic comment that they make by their very engagement is that the Nigerian military cannot handle, some of these assignments. That's one. Number two, Senator Adams Oshiomhole, not too long ago, on the floor of the Senate, challenged the Nigerian military and said funds appropriated to the Nigerian military are usually used by the military hierarchy either to go and build universities in their hometowns or to go and do CSR in their hometowns without using the same appropriated funds to do their main assignment. Well, the Senate shut down that motion, but the question is still out there as a matter of public interest. What is transparency and accountability in the military governed by martial law that is different from the transparency and accountability that we civilians talk about?
Thank you, Dr. Abati.
General, please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Abati. Yeah, somehow towards the end, I didn't hear what you have to say. But just to respond to this, that the military is highly professional. That I can guarantee. There is no general we have in the army today that has spent less than 25 years in service. We have been to Liberia, we've been to Sierra Leone, we've been to other countries, we've done so much. We're here in our country facing these challenges. And like I said, asymmetric warfare is an entirely different operation. On the issue of transparency, I can guarantee you that we are going through every scrutiny that is there on the land. We have auditors that always come consistently to do that. And when you talk about use of funds in building universities and building and doing civil, that is asymmetric warfare. And that's what we call the non-kinetic part of it. We have two options, the kinetic and the non-kinetic. The kinetic is where we use military force. The military force to solution to non-state actors or to asymmetric warfare is just about 20-25% of the solution. Mistake people always make is that they think it is only entirely a military solution. It is not. The non-kinetic plays a higher role, and that is where if our youths are engaged, if they are educated, if they are well-fed, if they are well-schooled, well-housed, they will not give in to these terrorists. Like I tell you, on a weekly basis, we take over thousands down, but they keep coming out in numbers. Why is that so? Because we have a lot of them not doing anything. They're just sitting down there, and people are just ready tools to be used by these criminals to take advantage. So I can guarantee you that the funds being released are properly utilized. The central bank, the Ministry of Finance, all the procedures they do in checkmating what we do is there. We have the oversight function by the National Assembly that is ongoing. And also we have our own mechanism from within that we do that. I can guarantee you no money is wasted. And when you even look at this money, I tell you this, one precision missile, just a smaller one, is about $200,000. I'm sure you're aware that everything that we buy in hard currency, from our ammunition to our bullets to our bombs to everything. Everything is bought in foreign currency. Now, if you look at our budget, convert our budget to dollars. And, well, I'm happy Rufai is there. Fact check the cost of a ship. Fact check the cost of an MRAP, of a missile, of a drone, of a helicopter, or a fighter aircraft, and see how many we'll be able to buy with the budget we have. We know the country is going through so much, so we don't expect to get everything. But the little that we have, we are utilizing them properly. The issue of the military contractors, like I told you, the Americans used them in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in other countries. How did they end up? Bringing anybody out from anywhere to home here, one, look at the cost, and then he's going to have his own interests. And his interest is not to end it, to aggravate the issue. So you will have more complex issues to even deal with. The Wagner forces in Mali, recently 87 of them were killed. And what did they do? They went there and they got killed by the same terrorists. So we are dealing with individuals that have sworn to kill for whatever reason. And the worst enemy you can ever fight is to fight somebody who has nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. If they die, nobody cares because they feel they are going straight to heaven or they have some reward somewhere they're going to get. So they're ready to die. They're ready to do this stuff. Like a reminder, Niger State alone is almost 10% of Nigerian land mass. The Northwest is over 200,000 square kilometers. These are a huge, massive land area. So what we need to do is first to leverage on technology. If we have enough satellites to be able to give us real-time information, we have enough drones to use. But we cannot have enough, but we're making do what we have. And I can guarantee you, the way it is going, I've said it before, asymmetric warfare is not what you start today and you end tomorrow. It is a gradual thing. It's a painfully drawn kind of war that takes time to heal. But again, it must be deliberate, and it entails all society to be together. Why do you think they are surviving? It's because we have people, informants, that are always telling them. I've always reminded people, the last APC that got bugged, the armored personnel carrier that got bugged, it was the locals that picked and were calling those guys to tell them that our APCs are bugged, they should come there. And they came there en masse. So you find Nigerians that are the ones sabotaging our own efforts. We have unscrupulous elements that think they are making money. In the Northeast, people will go to a filling station, take full tank, go in there and sell this fuel to them. People take food. We have banned the use of urea fertilizer. But we find people hiding them under trucks to go and sell to these guys because once you're able to get it across to them, you make good money. And it is that money that people are going after. So we have a lot of sabotage from within and outside that we need to come together and say, look, enough is enough. Nigerians must take ownership of them, and that's the only way that we can do it. So it's not only a military solution, it's a general solution that we need to adopt.
Yes, General, I get that point, but I asked you also about domestic corporate fighters in Nigeria. All these non-state actors that are engaged to monitor our waters and to support the security agents. You have no objections to them?
No, of course. We used, I was in the Northeast. I was a theater commander in the Northeast.
So you have no objections?
Like I said, Dr. Aboti, like I said, is an all-society approach. Communities must stand in and be counted. Individuals must stand in and be counted. We cannot be everywhere. And so in the Northeast, what did we do? We got the communities to rally around, select youths that we know are positive youths that don't have any criminal record. They were profiled by the police and the DSS. We gave them some level of training on how to protect their communities. That has assisted us in doing that because we cannot be everywhere. So they do that to delay until the troops come in to take immediate action. That has helped. So we need the support of everyone. In Kano, for example, why did you think Boko Haram could not survive in Kano? People in Kano, knowing that they are into commerce, Boko Haram in Kano will cause a lot of problem and it will affect their work. So they refused. Anywhere they went to rent accommodation, they were reported. Anybody they see that is strange in any community, they reported them and actions were taken. So that is what we're appealing to all communities. Do not allow them settle in your community. Do not give them any support because when you do that, that's when you encourage them to do. These terrorists survive within the communities. If the communities freeze them, they cannot survive. So that's our appeal to Nigerians.
Thank you very much, General C.G. Musa, for your time with us this morning and us just being able to explain some of the challenges that the military faces in fighting against terrorism. I echo Rufai's words in saying that we do doff our hats and say, well done. You're doing, with limited resources, and hopefully that call for a 25% of the budget going to military efforts, as made, advocated by the chairman of the Arise This Day Media Group, should be taken forward. But
Nigeria is a culturally rich country with abundant mineral resources, but it continues to struggle with security challenges. Banditry remains a significant issue in the northern region, and movements such as the Biafra agitation in the southeast and the Yoruba Nation agitation in the southwest further complicate the security landscape. To effectively address these security concerns, it is crucial to have strong governance, community engagement, strategic coordination among security agencies, and active citizen participation. Well, joining us in our Abuja studio is General Christopher Gwabi Musa, the Chief of Defense Staff. And also joining us in the studio to have this conversation is Sam Omasheye. But let's first of all say good morning to the General. Good morning, General Christopher Gwabi Musa. Can you hear us? Yes.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Good morning, General.
Thank you very much.
Right. Sam.
Yes, I want you to assess the state of security in the country generally vis-a-vis your strategy to make things better.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm sure all Nigerians are fully aware about how things used to be before and how things have begun to get better. I've always said that we're not where we want to be, but I think we're heading in the right direction. We always continue to appeal to Nigerians to remain positive, support the armed forces and security agencies. We cannot do it alone. We need the support of everyone. And the challenges we're facing, firstly, is not only in Nigeria. The whole sub-region is engulfed. The African continent, in fact, the entire world is going through so many challenges. So it is not different. And because we are not isolated, this insecurity also gets across to us. But what we need to do, not to despair, is to stand up to the challenges ahead and then face them squarely, and that's exactly what we're doing. It was extremely very bad. Like I said, security, asymmetric warfare, the presence of non-state actors should never be allowed to start in any country. The best thing to do is to nib it in the bud, because it's a very difficult operation. You are dealing with people you don't know. We only identify these guys when you see them carrying arms. If they are not carrying arms, they're just like normal civilians, and you are duty bound to protect them. So that's why this one is different from the conventional kind of warfare, where you know your enemy, you know where they are, and you know how to go about them. So confronting the current challenges is all of society approach. Every Nigerian has a role to play. Every individual living in Nigeria also has a role to play. And I think we're working towards that together.
Right. And like some other Nigerians, we must commend the effort of the military so far at addressing the matter of insecurity in the country. And if you look at the papers this morning, a Senator, Ali Ndume, is saying that there is the need to engage the services of military contractors to wipe out terrorists. And he went ahead to also say that military, civilian JTF are ill-equipped to carry out the task of eliminating remaining insurgents. How do you respond to this statement coming from the Senator?
Senator Ndomi is somebody I know very well, and he speaks from his heart. But I know, I've been with him when I was in the theater in Maiduguri. We have met severally, and he has understood clearly that what we're facing, while Nigeria is not isolated from the entire world, is a new world order where insecurity prevails everywhere, and we're doing the best we can. The idea of having contractors, military contractors, is still going to be the same problem. Once they come in, they are going to aggravate your issue so that they will remain for a very long period to be able to gain more money. They are going to be very expensive. So why waste that money? Why not use that money to build your own military? Now the president has approved DICON to start production of military hardware. I can tell you for free that why this thing has been prolonged for so long, two things. One, we are signatories to human rights. And human rights demands that once we see civilians wherever we're supposed to take a military action, we stop. So that has actually mitigated against our ability to take direct action on several occasions. So that is one aspect. Two, we don't produce the equipment we need. Even with our money, getting the equipment has been extremely very difficult. You know, over time, there have been some international conspiracies that have affected us, denied us the ability to buy weapons directly, even with our own money. And besides, the Russian-Ukrainian war has made it extremely difficult getting equipments. Most of the equipments that have been produced now are being taken there to project that war. Now we have also the Israeli-Lebanon, the Israeli-Palestinian war ongoing. Those companies have given priorities to those other areas. So the only solution for us, one, we must produce what we need. Sometimes you hear people saying that the armed forces, the military or defense in general, is getting so much money. I said yes. I mean, in Naira terms, good. Everything we purchase, everything we procure, we buy in hard currency. Convert these monies to hard currency and see what you can get. One precision missile from a drone is $200,000. Once you fire that missile, $200,000 is gone. So consider how many missiles you might need. Consider how many drones you will need. Consider how many aircrafts you need to buy. Ships. Fueling a ship alone takes how many? Over 20 trailers. And then how long does it take that to finish? So it's extremely very expensive. I always want to remind people that if you look at our budget and the budgets of other countries, America that produces all the weapons and equipment they need, their budget for this year is over $800 billion. So we know the armed forces is not the only one that is struggling, because we know there are other contending issues that the government has to deal with. So we really, really understand. So the idea of bringing military contractors is not it. You look at the issues on ground. What has actually taken us to where we are today? We have always mentioned issue of good governance. The military can only do so much. We liberate a lot of areas, especially in the northeast, but then you go there, no infrastructure. There is no road, there is no water, there is no school, no hospital. We provide these things wherever we are deployed. So it makes it extremely difficult for us to do that, but we're doing the best we can. And you can see that within this period, we have taken over 300 bandit leaders, Boko Haram commanders, all criminals, both militants that are also affecting our crude oil production. And we're doing so much. In the south side, the production has increased because following the president's mandate, we have taken action and we're doing very well. Asymmetric warfare is not a warfare that you just switch on like on and off today. No. It's a gradual thing, because again, you are dealing with people that have ideology and you cannot read everybody's mind. So it makes it extremely difficult. But we're doing the best and we're succeeding.
Interesting stuff. So you actually alluded to the let's say superpowers military budget. For instance, just like you mentioned, the United States 794 billion according to 2023 report. China 292 billion, India 81 billion, United Kingdom 69 billion dollars. Talking in dollar terms, are you saying are you invariably saying that the budget we are having for our military is not sufficient? And if that is the case, how are you working with the federal government to ensure that adequate budget is given to the military in order to prosecute war against insurgents?
Yeah, considering the economic situation in the country, we cannot have everything that we need. So we are making do what we have. And we're happy that the president has signed up the bill for DICON to start. Now we're working, their companies, original manufacturers have actually moved in. They are coming into the country to produce those equipments. I mean, that's the best solution. Once we're able to get our equipments produced here in Nigeria, we can use them, we'll be able to use them to project our wars. And then we'll also be able to extend such to other countries, which will also earn more foreign exchange for the country. Issues of employment will be provided. So it's going to be a win-win thing for us, and that's why it's very important that we continue doing that.